Hey everyone, Styles here. The following video contains bonus content in Ape Escape 2. In this video, we'll be going over the monkey novels. So if you're not interested in it, then you can skip the video. But whether you're going to watch it or not, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hey everybody, Styles here, also known as welcome back to some more Ape Escape 2. And of course, this is another bonus episode, basically showing off more of the content that there is in Ape Escape 2. There's a lot, like I've said, there's a lot of content left. And of course, this video is basically going to focus more on the monkey novels, since there's a lot of them. As you see right here, there are 20 monkey novels in all. And they're pretty big. But first, I'm actually going to show off the Jukebox. The Jukebox basically is just, you know, every single song in the game is here. Every single one of them. Even some of the ones from the mini games that will be played. That's mostly about it. Like, you just got all those. Even this one, which is probably a really amazing song, and I like it. It just sounds really great. So yeah. What else was there? I'm trying to think of what other ones were actually pretty good. Like, there was a lot. Oh yeah, there was Enter the Monkey. Enter the Monkey was really good. Like, there was a lot that were really good. And of course, as I've already said in one of the videos, there is actually, when you play the PS4 version, there's actually a trophy for playing the theme tune. And of course, it's one of the soundtracks that you have to unlock via the gacha box. Once you have that, you can literally just play the theme tune right here, and you'll get a trophy. As I've already mentioned that. But that's about it for the soundtrack. You mostly can just play whatever the music you want. It's good. I like it. It looks really good. But anyway, let's get to the monkey novels. The monkey novels are basically little stories, like I would say little stories about featuring monkeys, of course. So it's kind of like, I don't know, like your normal children's stories, except it has monkeys in it, basically. That's about it. And we're gonna actually look at these. So first, we have Monkey Tarro. A long time ago, there lived a great monkey named Monkey Tarro. An old lady monkey found him after he'd been born inside a giant banana. One day, the old lady monkey and her husband gave him 3 bananas and pushed him out the door, telling him not to come back until they defeated the ogre that was ravaging the capital. And don't forget the ogre's treasure, he was told. Although he's been charged with the task of defeating the ogre character, he hadn't the slightest idea where to find him. While he was searching for the ogre, it grew dark, and Monkey Tarro lost his way. He decided to eat the 3 bananas the old lady had given him. He was still hungry, but laid down on the base of a tree and slept there for the night. The next day, he tried to ask a passing boy about the ogre's whereabouts, but the boy did not understand a single word that he said. Seeing that the monkey was flustered, the boy, for some reason, handed him a dango, which is a traditional Japanese delicacy. The half-starved Monkey Tarro was overjoyed and chomped away on the delicious dango without the slightest show of manners. After finishing the dango, Monkey Tarro decided to follow the young boy for the time being, as he hadn't a clue about the ogre's whereabouts. Soon the boy met a dog, and then a pheasant, who were both looking quite distraught. The boy gave them each a delicious dango and helped them find their way. Monkey Tarro was very impressed by the boy's show of kindness. After a few days, the group, led by the boy and Monkey Tarro, rowed a boat across the sea to an island inhabited by countless ogres. This reminded Monkey Tarro that it was his job to defeat the ogre, and so with the help of the boy, the dog, the pheasant, he began the fierce fight with an ogre. After the fierce fight, the band were victorious, and took with them the huge amount of treasure as their own reward. After the group returned to the capital, began bickering over dividing up the spoils. Monkey Tarro put up a fight of his life, but at the end, the boy ran off with every last nugget of gold. Fearful of Monkey's couple Rafe, he decided against returning home and instead selling himself to the circus, where he spent the remainder of his days entertaining children with his unique low-flying chimp routine. The end. And now we have number 2, which is the sequel to that story. Monkey Tarro 2. A long, long time ago, there lived an old monkey couple. They lived joyously together for many years, but they were very saddened by the lack of their child. One day, Old Man Monkey went to the mountains to fetch bananas, and Old Lady Monkey went to the river to wash pants. The Old Lady Monkey began doing this washing in the river, but when much to her surprise, a giant banana came drifting by. But she wasn't hungry in the least, so it mattered little to her. 2 days later, the rotting monkey was found floating near the shore, further down the river. The end. Oh, that was it? Okay. And next we have The Monkey Who Cried Hikaru. A long, long time ago, there lived a monkey who told lies all the time. He was such a terrible liar, and all the monkeys in town ceased to trust anything that he said. One day, he was busy just lying, just as he always did, when he spotted Hikaru thundering towards the town. He tried his best to warn everybody, "Hikaru is coming! Hikaru is coming!" But no matter how much he shouted and screamed, not a soul listened. So he had no choice but to run from the town by himself. Every last monkey was captured by Hikaru, and the town was finished. The liar monkey lived out his years comfortably in a faraway town. The end. Number 4, Monkerella, which is basically Cinderella. Monkerella was a beautiful monkey with adorable big eyes. Fair Monkerella was most popular in the town. A very high price was listed on the poster of her that was found all over town. And when the shopkeepers spotted her, they quickly closed up shop, awed by her greatness. Monkerella, quite simply, was the talk of the entire land. Actually, maybe this is not. One day, the banks were giving her money, which she was always most pleased about, when a fan told her about a party. She'd always wanted to pay a visit to the castle, and so she asked an old wart-covered witch to prepare her a magical horse and carriage. She obliged, and her ride was secured. Monkerella crept quietly into the grounds of the castle in her magical carriage, but the guardsmen simply would not leave her alone. Every last one of them wishing for a dance with a young monkey whose hands were full of bags of gold, and chased after her with the utmost venomous. The distressed Monkerella had no choice but to escape in her carriage, but during the fuss, she dropped her monkey helmet. The next day, the prince made an order to find this monkey, who perfectly fitted the lost monkey helmet, and bring her to the castle. To demur, Monkerella was reluctant to admit that she was the owner of the helmet, but the castle guards came to her home and insisted that she try it on. She was dragged by both arms off to the square gently. At the town square, the monkey helmet was placed on each of the long-line monkeys, standing quietly in anticipation of their fate. Soon, it was Monkerella's turn. To her, it felt as if the whole crowd was glaring. And frankly, she would have felt much better to have left immediately. But when the gracious guardsman wrenched her hands behind her back, she had little choice but to allow the helmet to be placed upon her. Surprise, surprise, it fit her perfectly. In her heart, she was ever so pleased, but much too shy to show it. When the guardsmen began escorting her to the castle, she could no longer contain herself, and tears of happiness flowed over her rosy cheeks. After that, she would spend the rest of her days living in the castle. Every last monkey was overjoyed that Monkerella had found her new eternal home. The end. And here we go as Ape Tarro, which, to be honest, I do not know what these are. I don't know what some of these are not, what some of these are kind of like jokes for, or parodies of. I'm not exactly sure, but I know these are parodies of some stories. But yeah, Ape Tarro. A long, long time ago, there lived a young monkey named Ape Tarro, an eccentric young primate. He spent most of his time diligently fishing, despite the fact that he hadn't had the slightest taste of fish. One day, Ape was walking along the beach when he spotted some young rascals tormenting a sea turtle. Ape was usually not one for getting involved, but he simply could not pass up a chance to snatch the luscious-looking banana the rascals had with them. He cast a net quite athletically upon the kids, fully entangling them. Without much effort, he had one top banana. Ipshima was shamelessly indulging himself in the bright yellow banana when the sea turtle began to speak to him. Despite being a talking ape himself, he didn't feel very comfortable with the talking turtle. But as he had finished his banana and he didn't have much else to do, he decided to oblige this strange turtle. Doing as the turtle had told him, Ipshima rode upon his shell to the bottom of the sea. Once there, they were greeted with more schools of fish than you can imagine, and a princess. The princess and the fish sang and danced for Ipshima, as they were quite thrilled that he had saved the turtle. No expense was spared with their sacrificial servings of sashimi and tempura, which is a delicate raw fish and fried vegetables. The taste was unbelievable. Unless, as we know it, Ipshima didn't have a stomach for fish, and so he left it quite untouched. He put in a special order for a banana, but was told they had no such thing in the sea. Ipshima, thoroughly disappointed, decided to return home. Before he left, a princess gave Ipshima a gift. It was a chest that she told him he must never open. He was, of course, pleased by her kindness, and quite frankly, a gift that one cannot open may as well be no gift at all. So after returning to the beach, he threw it straight back into the sea where it likely belonged, and went home. Unfortunately, for centuries, no fisherman could ever catch a single fish in the sea into which the mysterious chest was thrown. I wonder why. And here we go, the Grateful Monkey. A long, long time ago, a professor lived all by himself. He conducted research in his home on the mountainside, but he was quite unsuccessful. He never managed to create anything that earned him a single penny of income. One day, during his usual walk, the professor noticed a monkey caught in a monkey trap and crying quite miserably. The professor felt sorry for the poor monkey, so he freed him from the vicious trap. The monkey was overjoyed and bowed to him countless times before returning home to the mountains. That night, just as the professor was going ready for bed, there was a knock on his door. When he answered, he was surprised to find a little boy wearing a monkey helmet. The little boy wearing the monkey helmet apparently lost his way. And was searching for shelter for the night. The kind-hearted professor gladly offered to let the boy stay at his home. The next day, the boy told the professor that if he could stay a little longer, it would give him the chance to show his gratitude, but that the professor must never look inside his room. In almost no time at all, large sums of money began pouring to the professor's account, and before he knew it in his life, had changed mysteriously from rags to riches. However, the professor could not help but wonder about the boy. Both day and night, strange glow radiated from under the door of his room, and eventually the professor could not stop himself from taking a look inside. Inside the room was a little helmeted monkey staring into a glowing computer screen. The monkey was engaged in day trading, which was all the rage at the time. The professor quietly closed the door. The next morning, the boy didn't come out of his room, and when the professor went back into the room, all he found was a one-page letter. It read, "Since you've seen my true form, I can no longer stay in your home. As my final thanks, please sell those stocks to raise some money." However, these stocks had already plummeted after the embezzlement controversy and some gambling fiascos. Frustrated and lonely, the professor became addicted to day trading, and was soon poorer than he had ever been. The end. Alright, and next one, the Wise Monkey. A long, long time ago, there was a monkey named Okyu, who resided in a temple. One day, Okyu was up to monkey business in the forest when the head monk caught him. The head monk managed to use this to trick him to join the temple, but in fact, Okyu, I don't know how to really pronounce that, had an incredible intellect, so much that even the shogun himself had taken notice of his sharp mind. To be frank, he didn't really give a monkeys about what people thought of his intellect, and could more appropriately be described as a loafer than a wise monkey. In any case, one day he was called to the castle by the shogun, as he always was. In his heart of hearts, he would much rather have sat home twiddling his thumbs, but since this was a shogun, he felt compelled to take this notice. When he reached the bridge that led to the castle, there was a sign that read, "This bridge shall not be crossed." It would seem that the shogun had called upon him for a battle of intellect, but as you may guess, Ukyu didn't really care about such matters, and so without skipping a beat, he simply swam across the moat. Didn't occur to him what the shogun had in mind, though. Ukyu reached the castle, where the shogun stood before a painted folding screen, awaiting his arrival. The shogun told him that every night the tiger painted on the screen would leap out of the picture and terrorize the castle, and that he hoped Ukyu would know what could have been done about this. Although he kept it to himself at the time, Ukyu really wondered if the old shogun was one sword short of an XXXX. I'm gonna assume that's probably a swear word. That's probably why. I'm not exactly sure. It's a way to censoring, I guess. Of course, the shogun was hoping that he could challenge the famous Ukyu's intelligence, but as Ukyu hadn't had the slightest interest in such games, he pulled the lighter out of his pants and set fire to the folding screen. The fire grew to a considerable size and caused him quite a panic. On the way out the door, Ukyu stopped off to the castle vault, snatching what he could take and thus ensuring a comfortable retirement. So I guess you could say in that way, he really was intelligent. And next we have Little Red Monkey Helmet. Long time ago, there was a beautiful young monkey who looked lovely in her monkey helmet. So much that she was called Little Red Monkey Helmet by all those who knew her. She loved searching for the forest, mushrooms and bananas, and of unusual and, well, quite wretched colors. One day, Little Red Monkey Helmet was told that there was a man who had an assignment for her. When they met, Little Red didn't even offer her hand. She just kept a good distance. Neither her eyes and isolated required. What's the job, pal? Fearing for his life, the man shook in his boots, but he knew that this was a task that only Little Red Monkey Helmet was capable of performing. Little Red Monkey Helmet's assignment was to deliver a banana to the old lady living in the forest. After confirming that a direct deposit had been made to her bank account, Little Red immediately prepared to set out. She brought only the things she would need: her purse, basket, and a map to the forest. Walking to the forest, Little Red Monkey Helmet met a big bad wolf. "Hello, and where are you going, little monkey?" she said. "To the old lady's house," replied Little Red. "Oh, now you be careful." You could heard a pin drop in the forest as Little Red waited for the wolf to pounce, but he did nothing. Little Red was safe. Finally, she arrived at the old lady's house. When Little Red stepped inside, the old lady was asleep in bed. And then Little Red noticed the old lady had strangely large ears. "Old lady, why are your ears so big?" She was sound asleep. When Little Red looked closer, she noticed the old lady had a huge mouth. "Old lady, why is your mouth so big?" And of course, you know, old lady's still sleeping. And then Little Red screams, "Old lady!" "Well, don't scare me like that, little girl." After Little Red gently awoke the old lady, she leaned over to give her the banana. As she moved closer, the old lady turned out to be no lady at all. She was the big bad wolf that Little Red had met in the forest. "Where's the old lady?" said Little Red. "She moved away last month," replied the wolf. "Don't lie, you ate her, didn't you?" Little Red, you see, had quite an imagination, and something told her that this wolf was up to no good. Well, at least that's what Little Red thought. Little Red Monkey Helmet glared at the wolf, and slowly and deliberately began cracking her knuckles. As you probably could tell. She was pleased when she spotted sweat pouring from the wolf's brow. She taught him a good lesson. It force-fed him the banana and sent him hightailing it off to the forest. The poor wolf was traumatized by the whole thing. The end. The stories are pretty weird. I'm just gonna say that right now. Monkerella 2. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful young monkey named Monkerella, who was very poor. Monkerella always worked very hard, despite being constantly tormented by her mean-spirited sisters. One day, word came that there would be a splendid ball at the castle, and one by one, the ladies of the land were invited, all except for poor Monkerella. On the night of the ball, Monkerella was at home, singing miserably while still dreaming of attending. Then all of a sudden, a magician appeared, and with a wave of a wand, provided her with a banana carriage and a beautiful flowing dress. The young Monkerella, ecstatic about her change of fate, boarded the carriage and headed for the castle. Even the banana carriage smelled simply wonderful. Their seats, the door, the interior, everything was made of bananas. Monkerella was truly overwhelmed, so she bit straight into the seat. Sometime later, when she arrived at the castle, she had grown to the size of a small sumo wrestler. However, by the satisfied look on her face, it seemed like she didn't mind. Man. Alright, number 10, here we go, the monkey statue. A long time ago, there was an old couple who lived together happily. On New Year's Eve, the old man went to town to sell some monkey helmets so that he could buy some rice cakes. The monkey helmets were his grandfather's invention, but they rarely worked well, and as such, never really caught on. The old man decided to go back home and was quite disappointed that he sold so few helmets. He took the scenic snow-covered walk home, carrying the heavy load of monkey helmets. Along the way, he'd suddenly noticed a row of 6 little monkey statues by the side of the road. The statues' heads were covered by snow and looked very cold. "You must be so cold all the way out here." As he said that, the old man brushed the snow off their heads and placed the leftover monkey helmets on them. Unfortunately, there were 6 monkey statues and only 5 monkey helmets. One little last statue was left without a cover from the snow. And so the old man took off his own monkey helmet and placed it on the statue. Finally, the old man returned home. When he told his wife about the little monkey statue, she looked angry. He was a little apprehensive about what this look meant, and even tried to appease her by telling her that she looked really nice in her kimono. However, the old lady was not moved. She stayed silent, although it was nice to hear such a thing once in a while. The old lady still seemed upset, but the old man decided to leave her and let her sleep on it. It wasn't an ideal solution, but you see, this is how people often solve things. After a while, the sound was heard coming from outside. It sounded as if something large had been dropped outside the door. When they looked outside, they found a bundle of fashionable women's clothing. Some of them were even embarrassingly sexy, but they fitted the old lady perfectly. The old man's cheeks turned bright red. "You're such an old fox. You shouldn't have." "It wasn't me." And a special feeling entered the air. When they looked off into the distance, they could see the light of a single monkey helmet. It seemed as if the little monkey statue had brought the clothes to express his thanks to the old man. Thanks to the little monkey statue, the old man and the old woman were on good terms once again. According to the neighbors, the lights were on until very late at night. You can probably guess why. Alright, here we go. And we got gold and silver bananas. A long time ago, there lived a professor who was a diligent inventor, but despite his talent, had always remained poor. One day, he went out to the forest to collect wood as usual. However, this time, he came across a beautiful fountain right in the middle of the forest. He'd grown hungry on his walk, so decided it'd be nice to have his lunch there. The professor finished his lunch and was about to bite into this wonderful banana dessert, and when his hand slipped and plop, went the banana right into the fountain. The professor, however, could not swim, and so he could nothing but sob miserably by the side of the fountain. All of a sudden, a beautiful goddess appeared up above. The beautiful goddess asked the professor, "The banana you have lost, was it gold or was it silver?" The honest professor told her that it was neither, and then the fair goddess handed the professor both a gold and a silver banana. The penniless professor was, of course, quite overjoyed with luck. However, someone rather than the professor also knew the secret from the fountain, for a little monkey was hiding nearby. The monkey was quite excited to have discovered a fountain that turned one banana into 2. Once the professor left, he threw his own banana into the fountain. And sure enough, the beautiful goddess arose from it. "The banana you lost, was it gold or was it silver?" Aping the professor, he replied with a shake of his head, saying neither. The kind goddess smiled and handed them both a gold and silver banana. The monkey was quite thrilled and he began eating the bananas right then and there. But as you know, one cannot eat a gold and silver banana because it's metallic. The unknowing monkey had thought the goddess had tricked him out of his banana, and his monkey helmet shone bright red, showing his anger. He took both bananas and threw them straight at her. This made the goddess very sad, which you could see in her eyes. She then gave the monkey 2 real bananas instead. This, of course, made the monkey as happy as can be. The goddess watched the monkey dash away and was glad that he seemed pleased, but she also found it all quite strange. If only we were to sell the gold and silver bananas, you could eat as many bananas as you liked. Oh well, each to his own, she reasoned and disappeared from view, a little more confused than before. And that's all for that story. Now we got the never-ending banana. The monkey princess, who was born from a banana, was well known in the capital as an unparalleled beauty. Monkeys came from across the land corner each day, the wait to meet her was at least 5 hours long. However, the princess already had her heart set upon her true love, and so she turned away each and every one of those hopeful monkeys. Despite this, 3 of them would never give up, no matter what she said. In order to make these persistent monkeys give up, she told them she would marry them if they would complete a challenge. She told the first monkey to bring her a banana that would not burn, the second, a banana that would not break, and to the third, a banana that could repeatedly be eaten but would reappear. The 3 monkeys, knowing that it was an impossible quest, nevertheless set out in search for these bananas. 3 years later, much to the surprise of the princess, all 3 of them returned from their quests. One with a banana that would not burn, one with a banana that would not break, and one with a banana that would always reappear after being eaten. The princess was by now very nervous. She tested the first banana. It didn't burn. The princess, quite at a loss, decided to gobble up this monkey's banana. Then she sent him away. Close, but no banana. Next, she tested the second banana. It was unbreakable. Seeing that this princess took a deep breath, she swallowed the banana whole. Finally, she returned to the never-ending banana. Sure enough, it reappeared once she finished eating. So the princess ate it again. And again, years passed, and the princess refused to stop testing this final banana. She ate it again and again, and still again. By this time, she was huge, far beyond the size of a large ape. Once again, she was famous across the land, but for quite a different reason. And once again, the wait to see her was 5 hours long. The end. And now we got number 13, which is the Monkey Village. Deep in the forest, far from human civilization, there was a monkey village. One year, the monkeys were busy collecting bananas in preparation for the coming winter. The leader of the monkey, Spector, played all day without lifting a finger, only barking orders to all of the lesser monkeys. One day, winter was drawing near. The monkeys harvested the necessary survival bananas to tide them over the winter months. Just then, Spector arrived and told them that he would sing for them as a reward. His singing was as bad as his character, but the monkeys, exhausted from work and glad to be finished, were easily drawn in and were glad to join in the party. The party lasted for 3 days and 3 nights, and as the party reached its end, the monkeys noticed the first flakes of snow fell. It was winter, and all they left was one single banana. Snow had just begun falling. How could the monkeys' village get through the winter? Would they survive? Well, we'll never know. But next we have the 3 little monkeys. Once upon a time, there were 3 little monkey brothers who had escaped from a professor's laboratory to run off into the forest. The oldest brother was lazy. The middle brother was unreliable. But the youngest brother was quite a diligent fellow, always collecting enough bananas to make up for his 2 older siblings. One day, when the youngest monkey was out collecting bananas, he noticed a monkey running around in a frenzy. When he asked the monkey what was the matter, it seemed that a giant hikaru armed with a gotcha net was lurking in the area. Hearing that, the youngest brother ran home as fast as he could to warn his older brothers of the danger. After sharing the news with his brothers, the 3 of them began constructing houses to protect themselves from the terrible hikaru. The eldest brother quickly gathered up some straw and slapped together a house on the spot. The middle brother built a house with wood, and the youngest brother found some bricks and labored hard to build a sturdy house. A few days later, the dreaded hikaru reached the homes of the 3 brothers. The first house of straw could not even stand up to Hikaru's body slam attack, so this brother ran to the next brother's house. However, the wooden house was vulnerable to Hikaru's stun club, and so the 2 brothers had to scramble to the youngest brother's house of brick. Unfortunately, the brick house was still under construction. All 3 were captured together. And that's all of that story, and now all we have is Jack and the banana stalk. Once upon a time, at the far outskirts of a human town, was a poor monkey village. The monkeys who lived there existed in terrible poverty. They only had 1 banana a day. One day, the monkeys finally ran out of bananas and left for the town to try to sell their very last pairs of pants so they could buy food. A monkey named Jack was chosen to go into town, so we loaded every last pair of pants into a cart and set out. On the way, he met a lone professor. The professor felt much pity when he saw the anxious look on young Jack's face, and so he offered to get Jack a bioengineered banana seed in exchange for the cart full of monkey pants. Jack realized he had nothing to lose, and the professor seemed honest. They made the trade. Jack arrived home with a big smile on his face and eagerly showed the fellow monkeys the great banana seed. His comrades were furious that he had not brought a single banana for them to eat, so they thrashed the poor misguided fool. Young Jack, depressed and alone, made his way to the shack and planted the seed. When he woke up the next day, everyone had gathered at the back of the shack, and they were all eating cried to stir. To everyone's tremendous surprise, the great banana stalk had grown from the seed planted the previous day, so great that it stretched up to the very clouds. Everyone was absolutely thrilled. Jack quickly jumped up to the nearby branch and climbed the banana stalk. He found countless bunches of giant bananas, so large that they had to be 1 ton or more each. Jack was overjoyed and began to shake the banana stalk vigorously. Jack knew that everyone was waiting with an empty stomach at the base of the banana stalk. So after he had knocked down every last banana, he climbed back down in great anticipation. However, back on the ground, nothing could be found, except for dozens and dozens of giant bananas. There was not a single monkey in sight. So Jack began waiting, eagerly waiting, for the return of his village folk, but none came back. Not for all eternity, that is. The end. Some of these are actually pretty dark. I'll be honest there. I'll be extremely honest. I'm also losing my voice, so that's not good. And now we have Hikaru and Pipotchi. Once upon a time, a young boy named Hikaru lived in poverty with his little monkey Pipotchi. Pipotchi was a little monkey he had found lost in the forest, and they lived happily together. One day, when they went out to the fields, Pipotchi suddenly pointed to the ground, wanting Hikaru to dig. Although it seemed strange, he did just that, and sure enough, there was a huge supply of bananas buried there in the soil. As we know, Hikaru and little Pipotchi were very poor, so they were quite ecstatic about this banana find. So ecstatic that they were oblivious to the monkeys nearby who had been hiding in the shadows, watching. They quickly aped the pair's actions, but all they found when they dug were rotten bananas. Feeling tricked, they flew into a rage, envious of the lucky pair. They gave Pipotchi a whack, which made him cry loudly. And as soon as Pipotchi began crying, the very ground upon which his tears fell began sprouting banana trees. Again, Hikaru and little Pipotchi were overjoyed with the stroke of luck. The monkeys, seeing this, were now sure that if they cried, they too would have found their own banana trees. So they began slamming their heads against rocks to cry. No matter how hard they tried, nothing came out of their tears, and their heads were soon covered with bumps and bruises. The monkeys were angered as never before, and so that night, they came and ate every last banana on the banana tree. When the pair woke up this morning, they were sorely disappointed, for not a single banana remained for them to eat. With nothing better to do, they planted the banana peels in their farm, and from whence they planted the peels came out sprouted many beautiful flowers. Just then, a kindly professor strolled by and was quite pleased by the beautiful flowers, and gave the pair many beautiful gifts, or wonderful gifts. The monkeys, seeing this, spread banana peels across the ground, but the professor slipped upon them. The monkeys once again became angry, but this time the professor was angry too, so he caught them all up and warped them away with his gotcha net. The end. And next we have what is this? Thumbleachi. I'm gonna assume. Thumbleachi? I don't know, something like that. Once upon a time, there was a tiny little Pipotchi who was just centimeters tall. He was called Thumbleachi. And he was traveled by boat from land to land, armed with a needle. He was a brave little Pipotchi who punished evil wherever it was found. More than punished. Actually, he crushed it, and without even ever saying a word. It was even rumored that on occasion, people who were not at all evil got in the line of fire, but despite that, he was generally well liked across the land. One day, Thumbleachi was sailing around in his boat, as usual, when he spotted a beautiful princess who was being pursued by a giant monkey. Within seconds, Thumbleachi, without uttering a word, moored his boat. He may have been small, but his reputation was well deserved.
As soon as the princess saw Thumbalachi coming off his boat, she pleaded him for help. The giant monkey, disgusted by the popularity of such a puny fellow, attempted to crush the tiny thing with a stamp of his foot, but the daring Thumbalachi would have none of it. He deftly dodged the attack, and then proceeded to climb right up the monkey's leg. Thumbalachi dived inside the monkey's pants, poked and poked, poked in the front, poked in the back. That sounds awkward. The giant monkey was in agony and threw off his pants and ran far away as fast as he could. The princess, now safe from harm, searched inside the giant monkey's pants and found Thumbalachi, along with a great treasure, a wish-granting monkey helmet. When the princess shook the monkey helmet, little Thumbalachi grew and grew and grew. When the princess saw the brave Thumbalachi in full size, she now knew what had made him so strong. For Thumbalachi was in fact a people mech. And so Thumbalachi picked the princess up and put her on top of his head, and they set off to defeat evil in unknown lands. And now we have the monkey's new clothes. A long time ago, there lived an old professor who was a tireless inventor, always hoping to discover something that would become his big break. But for some reason, he never quite succeeded. One day, he was in town on some errands when he noticed a poster that attracted a great crowd. The professor stepped over the poster, which read, "Make me a pair of monkey pants unlike any other, and you should be rewarded handsomely." This turned out to be a message from King Spector, who wished for a rare pair of monkey pants. The professor saw this as a golden opportunity and rushed home to begin preparations. The professor had a poor eye for fashion, so instead concentrated on originality. He decided that he would create a unique pair of monkey pants that would be visible only to monkeys. This was a great gamble for the professor, for he spent much precious capital on the design of the pants. This decision did, however, pay off. After much toiling, he had some fine pants that only monkeys could see. Finally, the day came for Spector to select the winning pair of pants. Every pair of pants was splendidly designed and had fine features. To be honest, the professor was quite worried. However, the moment Spector set eyes on the professor's pants, he fell immediately in love with these undergarments and told the professor he had won. Spector, very pleased that he had acquired such a splendid new pair of pants, gave the professor a promised handsome reward. It was a chest packed full of bright and shining gold. Unfortunately, this was gold that was only visible to monkeys. And so the professor returned to life as a humble inventor, just as poor as ever. And now we have the giant banana stalk. Our story takes place on a hot summer day in a monkey village. The village has thus far survived by selling the milk from its cows, but the cows have recently ceased to produce milk. After much debate, the monkeys decided that they have no choice but to sell the cows. A monkey named Jack was charged with the task of herding the cows to town to sell them. On his way, he happened upon a old professor. The old professor gave a smooth talk about the newly discovered bean, and Jack was quite taken in. Before he knew it, he was without one cow and left with only a single bean in his hand. When he returned, his starving friends gave him quite a telling off. As he was hid and kicked, a mysterious bean slipped from his grip and landed in the garden. The next day, Jack found a great banana tree growing from the garden, a great banana stalk that extended far into the sky. Jack climbed up the banana stalk all by himself, eventually reaching the clouds. There he found bunches and bunches of giant bananas. Thrilled by the sight, Jack quickly sunk his teeth into the juiciest looking of them. Jack, who was exhausted from both starvation and the scorching summer weather, forgot even about the passage of the time, quite lost in his endless feast of giant aromatic bananas. When Jack finally finished every last banana, he went back down the banana stalk and rather depleted spirits. He reached the ground and returned to his home, but when he announced his arrival, there was no reply. When he went inside his room, there were two monkeys sitting face to face, long since passed away. The calendar on the wall read December. The end. And this is the last one here. Nightmare scenario. Like, when I kind of looked at this, because of course you actually get a little a little passage of the story each time you open up the gacha box. You actually get a little passage of it, and I've been seeing a little bit of it, and it does look a little interesting. So let's go and read it. This is pretty much like probably one of the most interesting ones. After taking the now powerless Spector back to the zoo, Kakeru has returned to a normal life. Or so he thought. When he went to the park, the children were reading Monkerella. But that's not all. The Statue of Liberty was a giant monkey holding a banana. Does this mean that some monkeys were left in the past? Oh no! Screamed Kakeru, and rushed off to the laboratory. Professor! The professor turned his head, but he was a monkey. Then Kakeru heard an ultra-familiar voice. He turned toward the monitor, and it was Spector. Young Kakeru, you did well to stop my grandfather Spector from completing his mission, he said. Spector went on. I've taken it as my mission to pick up where Grandpa Spector left off. I'm going to make the world a monkey paradise. It's called the New Primate Doctrine. To start with, I've sent a monkey back in time to take the professor's place, so he's turned into one of us, as you can see. I could have changed you, too, but you're not worth it. As it turned out, the monkeys that Kakeru had missed saved the monkey helmet and put on Spector's grandson, who was a monkey on the monitor. Damn you, Spector! I'll go back in time to catch those monkeys! Yelled Kakeru. Spector sneered. Oh, will you? With what army? You haven't a time machine, a single gotcha gadget, or even a professor to help you! I'm gonna keep sending these monkeys back in time, so don't be surprised if your surroundings gradually become slightly primitive. Oh, and don't worry, I'll never change you. You'll have the pleasure of the torment of being the last human alive! Spector's plan seemed infallible. Kakeru, I'll be heading back to the future now. Have fun struggling hopelessly here in the miserable present. Sorry, kid. And then Spector Jr. was gone in a white flash. Damn it, I can't let this happen. There must be something I could do here in the present. Kakeru thought long and hard. That's it. I don't have a time machine, but the present leads to the future. Kakeru thought to himself, the monkeys that put the monkey helmet on Spector Jr. must be somewhere here in the present. If I can catch all the monkeys in this world, then I can prevent this. I can start with the Statue of Liberty. The monkeys responsible for that must be around here somewhere. I'll catch every last one of them. And so Kakeru set out to catch the monkeys. One day, he was just about to catch an old graying monkey when that despicable Spector Jr. turned up again. Well, Kakeru, you certainly come much further than I expected you would. Now, I don't know how you got a hold of that gotcha net, but it won't matter anymore. For now, I'm turning you into a monkey. Darn you, stop this nonsense, said an aging voice. Who goes there? Who dares to oppose me? Barked a confused Spector Jr. Then Kakeru noticed there was the old graying monkey was. It's old Spector! Spector Sr. explains. I'm the one who made Kakeru's new gotcha net. Sr. goes on. Monkeys should live in harmony with humans. I realized this when I was sent back to the amusement park. There were so many people who were worried about my safety. There must be the people who felt the same way about you, little grandson. After hearing that, the white monkey returned to the future, because the future is where he belonged. Because that is where people cared about him. The end. Honestly, from what I can say there, is almost kind of like where it was, like, a little bit after, like, what would happen a little bit after Ape Escape 1. That's my opinion, because, like, it was basically talking about the story of how Spector was taken back to the zoo, which was actually the ending of Ape Escape 1. Sorry for spoilers, but yeah. I mean, it's a fucking, what, like almost like a 16-year-old game? I don't know. I mean, some people really do care about spoilers, though, but yeah, like, I feel like that would be kind of like a thing, like, the after point of the original Ape Escape. So, I feel like that would be pretty cool, but I hit the same thing. Okay, there we go. So yeah, that is basically about all for the, like, that's about all for that, the Entertainment Center. So, and since this is actually a long video already, I feel like this is going to be all this video is. So, next time in Ape Escape 2, we'll be doing the last bit of the bonuses, which is the minigame corner here, and the gadget trainer for the first two gadgets over here. as I've already explained in the first bonus video. So with that, I've been Styles, also known as Vero Pony, and I'll see you all in the next time.